You have an excellent business idea. You are going to implement the idea. Initially, it goes well, but after the particular time, it stucks. Since you have put a lot of time, money, energy, it becomes hard to leave it as it is. As a result, sunk cost fallacy at work, a thinking error. The more we invest, the greater the sunk costs are, and the greater the urge to continue becomes. Of course, there are maybe good reasons to continue investing in something to finalize it, but beware of doing so for the wrong reasons, such as justifying non-recoverable investments. Authorities, surround as doctors, CEOs, economists, government heads, and other professions. Their expertise and predictors mostly define our decisions. Since we cannot track all of their predictions, we fail to see how their approaches are fallible. We are sometimes falling to the trap by authority bias. For instance, there are millions trained economists on the planet, and none of them could accurately predict the timing of the 2008 financial crisis, let alone how the collapse would play out. Airline companies have also learned the dangers of the authority bias. At all times, the captain was a king. If a co-pilot suspected an oversight, he wouldn't have dared to address it out of respect for or fear of his captain, and this could cause disaster. Therefore, airline companies arrange training for pilots to avoid this bias. To conclude, always challenge the authority when you make a decision. In his book named Influence, Robert Cialdini tells the story of two brothers, Sid and Harry, who ran a clothing store in 1930s America. Sid was in charge of sales, and Harry led the tailoring department. Whenever Sid noticed that the customer who stood before the mirror liked their suits, he became a little hard of hearing. He called to his brother, "Harry, how much for the suit?" Harry looked up from his cutting table and shouted back, "For that beautiful cotton suit, $42. At the time, it was a completely inflated price. Sid pretended as he couldn't understood. "How much?" Harry yelled again. $42. Sid then turned to his customer and reported, "He says $22. At this point, the customer would have quickly put the money on the table and hastened from the store with the suit before poor Sid noticed his mistake. This story is an excellent example of the contrast effect. We judge something to be beautiful, expensive, or large if we have something ugly, cheap, or small in front of us. We have difficulty with absolute judgments. Without the contrast effect, the discount business would be completely untenable. A product that has been reduced from $100 to $70 seems a better value than a product that has always been cost $70. The starting price should play no role. To conclude, if you are seeking a partner, never go out in the company of your supermodel friends. People will find you less attractive than you really are. Go alone, or better yet, take two ugly friends. Life is so complicated and consists of million, even billion of details. By connecting these details between start and end point, we are making a neat story. We are making the story from any event. We want our lives to form a pattern that can be easily followed. Many call this guideline principle meaning. If our story advances evenly over the years, we refer it as identity. We try on stories as we try on clothes, as said Max Frisch, a famous Swiss novelist. We do the same with world history, shaping the details into a consistent story. History is full of events in itself, and we build the meaning into them afterwards. Advertisers have learned to capitalize on this too. Instead of focusing on an item's benefit, they create a story around it. To conclude, from our own life stories to global events, we shape everything into meaningful stories. Story bias distorts reality and affects the quality of our decisions. To avoid story bias, pick this apart. Ask yourself, what are they really trying to hide? Visit the library and spend half a day reading newspapers, books. You will see that events that today look connected weren't so at the same time. Rolf Dobelli says, I came across the diaries of my grand-uncle recently. In 1932, he emigrated from tiny Swiss village to Paris to seek his fortune in movie industry. In August 1940s, 2 months after Paris was occupied, he noted, everyone is sure that Germans will leave by the end of the year. The officers also confirmed this to me. As everyone knows, it lasted 4 years. In today's history books, German occupations seems a clear military strategy. In retrospect, the actual course of the war appears the most likely of all scenarios. Why? Because we have fallen victim to the hindsight bias. So, why is the hindsight bias so dangerous? It makes us believe we are better predictors than we are, causing us to be arrogant about our knowledge and consequently take too much risk. To avoid this bias is not easy, but there is a way to lessen its impact. Keep a journal. Write down your predictions for political changes, your career, your weight, stock market, and so on. Then, from time to time, compare your notes with actual developments. You will be amazed at what a poor forecaster you are. If you would like more educational videos like this, please like and share my videos. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you.